what is the process? So now let us look at the assimilation process. We'll look at the assimilation process. What is actually assimilation? Assimilation is the process by which cells absorb nutrients and make use of the nutrients for its purpose and functions, for its functions. All right? So, which can be, okay, structural building, okay, energy for biochemical reactions, and physiological processes. Okay, structural building, which means that to build this, the contents of its cytoplasm, like organelles and all that, and then energy for biochemical reactions. Okay, physiological processes, which can be written separately. One is mainly for growth, all right, like cell division and all that. So basically, how the cells and any other biochemical processes. Okay, so basically, how it makes use of the nutrients it absorbs. That's assimilation. Okay, that is assimilation. All right. So you already got the understanding of assimilation. So now we go back, we fall back onto our absorption. Okay. So let us talk about, okay, let us talk about what do you call? Let us talk about the amino acids. Let us talk about the glucose. All that is absorbed, and let us talk about the what do you call fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, will also eventually reach the liver. Okay, will also eventually reach the liver. So the liver will also receive that. But let us look at that. So that means from the ileum, okay, hepatic portal way takes the nutrients into the liver. So in the liver, okay, we have to talk, that means that, so goes the liver cells absorb all these nutrients. Okay, so the liver cell regulates. It regulates regulates the nutrients. So the regulation is limited to certain aspects in SPM. Number one, regulation of glucose absorption. That means regulation of glucose absorption. I just put in short form. That's one. Another one is regulation of amino acid absorption. Regulation of amino acid absorption. So amino acid that is absorbed. And then regulation of fatty acids and glycerol. Okay? Okay. All that. So what does the liver do with this? That is assimilation in the liver. All right. So number one, the liver will take a good look at the amount of glucose, and the liver will, of course, convert. Okay, the liver will discharge or release the right amount of glucose to the general circulation. That's number one. Release the correct concentration of glucose into general circulation. This is what is going to happen to the glucose. Now, your blood requires a certain amount of glucose to be present always in the blood plasma. And when you go to the next part, you learn it is something like 90 milligrams to 110 milligrams. Can even say 100 milligrams, will be still correct. 90 milligrams to 110 milligrams per 100 centimeter cube of blood. So every 100 centimeter cube of blood must have about 90 milligrams to 110 milligrams of glucose present. So your liver's job is to do that, to release and make sure that amount is always present in the in the blood. All right. Now, after releasing this, okay, usually there will be excess glucose. So what happens to the excess glucose? Excess glucose, you must have the word excess. Okay, no excess will not be accepted. Excess glucose will be converted to glycogen. All right. And you have already learned before under the carbohydrate, glycogen is the energy stored in the liver, and one more is in the muscles. So here we are talking about the liver. It's converted to glycogen and stored for future use. Okay, all right, so that happens. Okay, now you must not forget that liver itself is a living organ, which means it needs aerobic respiration. So in your exam, you must complete. Completeness is very important in answering exam questions. So you must not leave that fact out. That means liver uses glucose to carry out, aerobic respiration. Uses glucose to carry out aerobic respiration, which is the only process in your body that can give you energy. All right, that is in your syllabus of SPM. All right, that's how you derive the energy. Cells derive energy from respiration, and mainly aerobic respiration. So this is what happens to your glucose. Now, you must also remember, assimilation is not only what it does with the excess glucose. What happens if the glucose level in the blood falls? If the glucose level in the blood falls, then the glycogen that's stored in the liver will be converted to glucose, all right, and released into the blood, into the general circulation, to ensure that the concentration of glucose always is maintained at the right amount. So the conversion of glycogen to excess glycogen to glucose occurs in the event the glucose level in the blood drops below the normal level of 90 milligram to 110 milligram per 100 centimeter cube of water. Sorry, centimeter cube of blood. Okay, that's that. Okay, that is as far as regulation of glucose that is absorbed. Okay, now amino acid absorption. Okay, so amino acid absorption. Okay, now liver has a lot of functions. Okay, a lot of functions. One of the function is to synthesize plasma proteins such as fibrinogen, albumin, and things like that. Even enzymes like prothrombin and all that. Okay, so it will make use of its amino acids to synthesize, I put generally as proteins. So remember, these proteins includes plasma proteins. Okay, plasma proteins. Besides plasma proteins, it also includes other proteins such as enzymes and hormones and all that. Okay, so it uses its amino acids, all right, to convert into proteins. Okay, so I also put there enzymes and hormones. Okay, all that. Now, this is done by your ribosomes. So your ribosomes carry out that. Okay, all right. Now, very often there will be excess amino acids. Now, amino acid, look at the word, amino acids. So when amino acids are above a certain level, it becomes toxic. Okay, acidosis. It leads to acidosis. That means the blood becomes acidic. Your body fluid becomes acidic. We cannot allow that to happen. So it can be a bit toxic. So excess amino acids cannot be allowed to accumulate in our body. The problem is our body do not have a way to store excess amino acids. So the only way the body deals with this excess amino acid is to eliminate them. So it is the liver's job to carry out a process called deamination. So liver carries out a process called deamination. So through the process called deamination, okay, the liver converts excess amino acids to urea. Urea, which is less toxic, and then taken to the kidney, and it's released into the urine, and I mean excreted as urine. So the excess amino acids. So how does your liver handle the excess amino acids? It carries out a process called deamination. So in the process, what is formed? Urea. So converted to urea. All right, and then that is taken to the kidney, and the kidney excretes the urea in the form of urine. So it's out. So that's how the body. So the liver has to be kept in top function, what you call form to function. Now you will learn at a higher level there are other processes. Okay, with the liver. There is also a way of transforming one amino acids to other amino acids and all that, but that is all too high for your level. Okay, all right. Now, what about regulation of fatty acids and glycerol? Okay, your liver can synthesize fatty acids and glycerol into fats. So that means they are converted to fats, and then they are taken to the adipose tissue to be stored. Okay, so and stored in the adipose tissue. And you know what the adipose tissue does. It is very important in our body, but we shouldn't have too thick a layer of adipose tissue. If you have too thick a layer of adipose tissue, that will lead to obesity. All right. So you also know what happens to that. Okay. So this is how your liver deals with all this. That means these are the nutrients it absorbs. Okay. Now, is assimilation only limited to liver cells? No. Assimilation is also carried out by all body cells. So in your SPM syllabus, you must also know other body cells. Other body cells means, for example, your cheek cells, your nose cells, all right, your skin cells, all right, all the other body cells. What do they do to the nutrients they absorb? Because I've already told you, the blood, that means the circulatory system, the transport system, will carry eventually the nutrients to all the body cells. So all the body cells, what they will do is they will get this, they will make use of the glucose first for aerobic respiration. All right, they'll use that for aerobic respiration. Now, our ordinary cells do not have this ability. They do not have this ability. But excess glucose can be converted to fats. Excess glucose can be converted to fats. That means not only fatty acids and glycerol can be converted to fats, even excess glucose can be converted to fats. That is why when we eat too much of carbohydrate, we put on weight, we become a bit obese, because eventually these excess carbohydrates, all right, which is in the form of glucose, can be converted to fats. Okay, so and then what does your body cells do with the amino acids it absorbs? Your body cells makes the proteins. You can remember the cells need to grow. You need proteins. Okay, so the organelles has to be synthesized. So your excess amino acids that is absorbed by the cells are then transformed or are used to build these proteins that builds the structure of the cell itself. Now, what about the fats that is absorbed by the cells? You can see there, your plasma membrane is largely made up of phospholipid bilayer. Therefore, these fats are used, these fatty acids and glycerol are used to synthesize these phospholipids. So the cells have their own function, have their own what you call objective, and they make use of them to use it for structural building. And in the event the cells need energy, the first primary source of energy is glucose. Remember all that you have learned. But in the event glucose falls short, the cells do not have enough glucose to supply it with energy, they will go for the secondary source, which is fats. So this is how fats are used. All this is called assimilation. How the nutrients absorbed by the cells are made use by the cells for various functions. Okay. Okay. Now there's one more thing I need to address here. Your liver also plays another very important function, the function of detoxification. Detoxification. So let's say our body accidentally absorbs toxic substances. It will be directed to the liver. That is why whatever contents that's absorbed, water-soluble, will be straight taken to the liver. So part of it is also to detoxify whatever toxic substances present in the contents of our cells. Okay, sorry, contents of the ileum, whatever that's absorbed from the ileum, the liver cells will detoxify it. Now, and some of the substances which needs detoxification are alcohol. For example, when we take in alcohol and alcohol is absorbed into our circulatory system, the transport system, and arrives at the liver will detoxify the alcohol into harmless substances. All right, of course, it will be taken to the kidney and the kidney will get rid of all these waste products, okay, but more of harmless waste products. Though detoxification is done and carried out by the liver. Okay, that's another important function. Okay.